Alright, we saved the best for last here. Here's the 3 large wooden hand planes in the bottom. And it's Christmas in October. I'll tell you what, these are some nice hand planes right here. Let's look at them all individually, one at a time. Here's the first one. This is a Jap plane. And I just now noticed something else on it. The sole is not flat. Another good surprise. Well, I thought it was a Jap plane, but it's not. It could have been a Jap plane and modified down on the sole. It's got a maker's mark on it and a name. Joseph Prante, England, is the maker of this plane. I don't know if that was an individual craftsman or an actual company that worked under that name. My phone goes off in the worst times. What's interesting about this plane is the sole. As you can see, it's got a radius to it right there. It's not flat. This could have been a Jap plane originally, and then he done this to the sole to suit the needs of whatever he was making. The sole is in really good shape though. It's also got a cambered curved iron at the bottom. It's got a little small nick in it, but it looks like to be in good shape. Besides that, as you can see, here's the sole of the plane. The throat is tight, got a small crack right here on beside it, which is not a big deal at all. Right here on the rear tote, there's also a small crack. The rear tote is in pristine condition here. So, we got something else here. Thought it was a Jap plane, and now it's kind of a large hollowing plane here. This is our next one here, number 7 jointer. And it's been used a lot of wear and tear marks on this plane here. A lot of patina. This plane has been used a lot during its life. Rear tote's in good shape. The iron is good. The chip breaker is good. It's a double iron, so it does have the wedge also. The sole is not in pristine, but not bad. The throat's got some issues here. A few cracks here. Probably needs flattened. I'm sure it needs flattened. Not a bad plane. The maker of this plane is a T.H. Romine. This is probably an 1800s plane right here. Most of these planes probably do date back from the late 1800s, if I had to guess. Still good solid plane. Nothing's loose. You can't beat them. Flatten the sole just a little bit and hone up that iron if it needs sharpening. This thing to be ready to be used again. And here's the last one, another jointer. This thing is very heavy, extremely heavy. This plane is. This is a piece of oak. Pretty sure it's white oak. And it's also got a maker's mark on the front of it here for Austria. I don't know if that would come through the camera or not. But this thing is in pristine condition here. I mean, it has wear and tear, it has marks all over it. It's got a lot of patina. And that just shows that it worked well over the years, in my opinion. It didn't really sit on the shelf and was displayed. It was being worked on a daily basis, probably. Rear tote is solid. There's no chips on it. In pristine condition here. A good, nice handle for, you can get a really good purchase on a handle like this, or a rear tote rather. The sole of the plane, and has been flattened recently. I can tell back by the looks of it here. It's not aged a whole lot. Bob may have flattened this one before he sent it. The mouth has a small chip out of it right here toward the back of it. Here toward the front there is a crack going along through here. You can't even feel the crack, but it's there, so it wouldn't really affect the use of this plane, the functionality of it. But man, this thing's heavy. This, with a really sharp iron, this right here should sail through the wood easily here. We'll try this one out at the end of the video also, because the iron has a mirror finish on it, so it has been sharpened properly by Bob. It's ready to go. So far, just on looking at them, this is probably my favorite one here. It should really sail through the wood easily. Let's try out this Austrian number 7. It's got a piece of reclaimed kiln dried oak here on the bench, nothing fancy. We'll secure it down with our hold fast. Take a few passes with this thing. I'm curious how good it sails through the wood here. This is probably the heaviest jointer plane I've ever handled here. hoping this winter to build a proper workbench. So I'm telling you, this workbench I use is okay, but I have to chase it around the shop every time I use it. Man, some nice medullary rays underneath here. The iron could use a little bit of sharpening. Put a little water on this oak so you guys can see what we revealed. As you see, it was weathered on both sides. Solid black almost. And this is a 2x4 that came out of an old house they were tearing down a few miles from here. A friend of mine gave them to me. Gave me a whole truckload of them. There's some nice wood hiding underneath there. You guys can see the medullary rays running all over this. This is some nice quarter sawn oak right here. I was going to finish up my first time doing an unboxing video on the channel. I'm going to try to get back to the shop here and get this place cleaned up. I hope to have some more videos out here in a few days. I'm working on this afternoon doing the part 10 of the kiln video series, showing the results of that first charge in the kiln and how the wood turned out and the cost of the kiln, and just overviewing everything we've done on it. And I should have that done this evening and out by tomorrow, hopefully. And by next week we'll be back to doing some more sawmilling, also including some more projects I'm going to be starting here toward the end of the month and 1st of November, which includes building that small building right beside the kiln for processing the wood that comes out. So that's coming up also, and I'm going to be using hemlock on that project and doing a lot of timber frame type construction with that building. Not all timber framing, but a lot of it, because I have all the tools here to do it. And it should turn out pretty well. And I got a lot of timber framing tools here I've acquired over the years I've not even got to use yet. So that would be a pretty interesting build, I think. Here I'm going to show how I saw the hemlock into beams and prepare it for the building. So that should carry us all through winter, just building that alone, not counting the woodworking stuff I'm doing here in the sawmill and the logging. Got a lot of trees to cut down this winter. So anyways, guys, I appreciate you guys watching, and this was not a real exciting video by no means that you're used to seeing on this channel, but stay tuned, a lot of that's coming up pretty soon. Give you a little sneak peek here of what I'm talking about when I got some timber framing tools I've not even used yet here. I got one really interesting one that you've probably seen before, but you're not seeing on this channel. Here it is. This is what we'll be using a lot on our timber frame build we're going to be doing here. This is a boring machine, and I'm not sure what the date of it is. There's probably a maker's mark somewhere on here with the date, but it's probably over 100 years old or close to it. But this comes from Jim Rogers up north. He builds these things, or not really builds them, he restores them. Of course he doesn't build them. He restores these things and sells them in better than new condition a lot of the time, so you can't find them. You can find these at flea markets, but they're missing parts. People are wanting $500 for them and they don't even work, which is ridiculous. But I got this from Jim for about $300 about 5 years ago, and he even makes a depth stop for them, which didn't come on these things years ago. He kind of came up with this little design for a depth stop. But I've not got to use it the first time. I knew I'd need one day, that's why I bought it. But as you can see, it turns freely. And I also have the correct auger bits to go in this machine. He sells those also. So we'll be looking forward to that on our build. We'll be using this right here a lot. And something else neat that it does do, you can loosen the wing nuts here on the side to adjust your positioning of how you want to drill holes. So if you're doing a brace on a 30-degree angle, you can rotate this thing to achieve whatever angle you're after. A nice feature here. My buddy over on the Tradesman's channel, he's doing a timber frame vlog over there. I'll watch every one of them. Learned a lot from that guy, but I'm not seeing one of these on his channel. He uses a chain mortiser, and maybe he'll pipe in here in the comments and let us know if he's got one of these or not. I'm kind of curious to see if he does. I'd like to see it in action if he does have one. Although the chain mortiser is a lot faster, I don't have one. This right here does the same job, just a little bit slower. So we'll see you guys on the next video, and hopefully here in a few weeks we'll be using this for the first time on that hemlock. If you enjoyed this video, guys, leave me a comment below and hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, I don't know what you're waiting on. And on top of that, that's about it.